A key feature of the GARCH 1-1 model that gives us an estimate of today's volatility is that we can use it to forecast volatility. We might start here today at 2%, but we then have a model that gives us a forecast for volatility going into the future. And it's based, the key here is that first term omega that is the product of a rate of reversion denoted by gamma and a level of reversion denoted by V sub L. So here I've displayed a very typical version of the GARCH 1-1 formula that gives us an estimate for today's variance. I'm using John Hull's notation. Keep in mind there's nothing magic about the notation. He uses Greek alpha, beta, gamma, but other authors might use A, B, and C. And this GARCH 1-1 is giving us an estimate for today's variance. So that's sigma squared is variance as usual as of today, and here N denotes today. And importantly, it's an estimate based on history. The variance estimate under the GARCH 1-1 is based on a sum, or is giving us a sum of three components. Omega plus alpha is the weight assigned to yesterday's squared return. In previous videos, I review how U here is the daily return. It is squared, and -1 denotes, of course, yesterday. And finally, the third component that contributes to the estimate under GARCH 1-1 is beta, which is a weight assigned to yesterday's variance, sigma squared, but N-1, and we can here see very clearly the recursive nature of the GARCH 1-1. The estimate for today's variance is a function of yesterday's variance, or the most recent or the lagged variance, and however much weight we are assigning to it, where beta is the weight. I've imagined some parameters, but they're pretty realistic in the sense that beta is 80%. Most of the weight in the GARCH 1-1 when we fit the model is in beta and therefore applied to the most recent variance estimate. So below this I have an alternative expression, but in some ways this is a more useful version of the GARCH 1-1 simply because it explicates the omega and what it means. Because when we see the GARCH 1-1, omega is a value. Mine is actually here, you can see a lot of zeros and then a 5. Typically the omega is very small, and that's because it's the product of gamma and the long run variance. So Hull denotes that V sub L. And we've said in previous videos that this is the long run variance. We could also call it the unconditional variance. So of course, this is the level to which we expect the volatility of the variance to mean revert toward. And then the gamma makes explicit how much weight is assigned to this reversion level. We could call this a reversion level. We could also call it the unconditional variance. And so an important condition here, now that we've explicated this third and final weight, is that the three weights need to sum to 1, right? This is an important feature of the GARCH 1-1, that alpha, the weight assigned to the lagged return squared, plus beta, the predominant weight that's going to be assigned to the lagged variance, plus finally here, gamma. Those are the three weights, and they do need to sum to 1.0, or which is 100%. So we can also see why the omega term is going to be typically small. In my case, where we have omega equals gamma times the long run variance, my gamma is only 5% in this version, 5%. And it's multiplied by the long run variance, which is my long run volatility squared. So that's 1% squared. And so this is pretty typical in that the omega value here is very small. It's actually 0.000050 because it's 0.05 multiplied by 0.01 squared. That's my omega. So when we see the specification, that's the first value we would see. But the point is that it's the product of a weight and a long-run variance. So we can now look at the expression for a forecast for the variance if we're going forward some number of days denoted by t. So you can see that again here is in John Hall. He also shows the derivation. It's not that difficult, but after all, a feature of the GARCH 1-1 model is that it has a reversion level, and so we should be able to forecast it. And the expected level of the variance, t days forward, that's as of today, day n, plus t days forward, is then given by this expression, the reversion level plus here, the product of alpha plus beta raised to the t power, that's the number of days forward, multiplied by here, the difference between the variance, that's where we are, and the reversion level, that's where we're going to be. So this is really the distance that we're closing between variances, where we are, where we're going to be. And then this alpha plus beta is really a rate of persistence. So it depends on the weights. So if I just come back and instead reprogram this estimate, now I'm only going forward one day here, and the forecast for the variance is going to be my variance level. That's going to be the volatility level to which we're reverting, the long run volatility squared, and I'm going to add the rate of persistence, which is alpha plus beta, but I'm raising that to the tth power, the number of days forward, and I'm multiplying that by the difference between our current estimate of the variance, and so I need to square that, and then I'm subtracting the long run volatility again, and using this variable again, squared. And that gives me a forecast for the variance, and then of course I square root that, take the square root to get the forecast for the volatility, and you can see we have a series going forward, but I've just plotted it here to show how we start at 2% as our current volatility estimate, and you can see how it's fading or gravitating toward the long run volatility of 1%. And I have an alpha of beta of 80%. I've called that sum, which is right here, a rate of persistence. And so for example, I can take this beta down to 70%. That's going to put 15% on the gamma, and you'll notice that my forecast is getting pulled toward the long run level for volatility of 1% more quickly. And that's because my rate of persistence is now 70 plus 15%, or only 85%, and gamma is 15%. Now we can understand why we might call gamma the rate of reversion. So omega here is the product now, the product of gamma and the long run variance, but another way to put that is the omega is the product of a rate of reversion and a reversion level. And in this scenario here, with a higher rate of reversion, my volatility forecast, you can see, is getting pulled to the 1% more closely, and I can even take that further with something like a beta of 65% or even 60%. But that really illustrates this volatility forecast, this feature of the GARCH 1-1 model, that it incorporates here an unconditional reversion level of the variance or volatility. So I hope that's helpful. Thank you.